landscape level. So on this opportunity, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our speakers, comprising Mr. Mahmoud Yusuf of Brunei Darussalam, who cannot be at this event and is represented by Dr. Henry Chan. Dr. Pavilion is the the assistant deputy in our office. Basically, he is the one who lead the coordination in Indonesia on this Heart of Borneo initiative. And Mrs. Elizabeth Phillips from Malaysia. And certainly, most important one also, my friend Dr. Efran Nasution, CEO of WWF Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, comprising around 23 million hectares of various categories of forest and land use, the Heart of Borneo landscape spread over 3 countries and contain extremely high carbon stock, extraordinary biodiversity, and the rich cultures and traditional knowledge of the many indigenous communities who have been good stewards of the forest in its Heart of Borneo. I think the speaker before is also coming from Kalimantan. Is one of the indigenous people that we know that is very important to involve the indigenous community in our effort on this Heart of Borneo initiative. The Government of Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia and Malaysia, through the Heart of Borneo initiative, adopted a comprehensive green economy strategy. This indicates a strong commitment to taking into account environmental and social costs in economic development to ensure sustainability, reduce the negative effects of climate change, and achieve the new sustainable development goals. The strategy emphasizes valuation of natural capital and environmental services, resource efficiency and low carbon economic growth that is land-based, clean technology-based, and people-centered, champions conservation and improve governance of natural resources. It provides the framework to manage the broad landscape surrounding the mountain ranges in the center of the 3rd largest island in the world, cover.
So it's about building on existing corridors from Borneo. So the yellow lines are areas that the existing corridor projects that are connected on one national park to the next. Our idea is that this series of activities are not connected to one spinal cord for the project. First, it helps connect between the forests in Brunei.
Approach have been pursuing the low carbon development and also the green economy initiative in the provincial and district level management. Ladies and gentlemen, I will start with some introduction to Heart of Borneo in Indonesia. Next. As it was mentioned by the previous speakers, that the Heart of Borneo initiative is the 3-country voluntary initiative among Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia and Malaysia, which aim to conserve and to implement the sustainable development in the area. Why it is important, the HOB, in terms of sustainable development? The HOB area is covering an area of about 23 million hectares, and it is spread out through the 3 countries. Brunei is around 0.42 million hectares, or 1.8%. Indonesia is around 60.8 million hectares, or around 72.3%. And Malaysia is about 6.03 million. In total, it would be around 23.25 million hectares. And the HOB Indonesia is covering 4 provinces, or we call it in Kalimantan. There is East Kalimantan province with the area around 3.9 million hectares. And then the West Kalimantan province with an area around 4.9 million hectares. Central Kalimantan province with an area of 3.0 million hectares. And the fourth is the North Kalimantan province with the largest area at around 5.2 million hectares. And it is not only covering 4 provinces, but also around 17 district governments.
5 years that we have built upon, and we have improved over time. Since 2008, we have actually improved our forest management. Unlike our neighbors, north, south, east, and west, we don't have that much of money to implement REDD+ as the fashion word is today. So we have moved towards looking at cost-effective improvements. So this is our long-term goal. Basically, we want to maintain our forests cover at 50% up to 2030. We will keep it to 2020, and we are extending it to 2030. And at that time, we also like to ensure that our forest resources and services are secured. So, if you like, I think something is not right, the words are not coming out. This slide is not supposed to show you just, this is forest certification and auditor in action, but I don't know why the word's not coming out. It's actually showing you what is happening, how did we move the transformational change from it's okay. So it will show you, it's the same slide like this, but it will just show you the transformational changes. From first, we wanted to eradicate poverty, and then we moved on to how we want to maintain our forest areas. Eventually, to ensure our ecosystem services are provided. So, based on this, we have developed our REDD+ strategy with a long-term vision to ensure that ecosystem services are secure and the benefits are shared fairly and equitably among all stakeholders. And you heard the earlier 2 speakers, the Tons, saying that the Heart of Borneo project is basically a project that looks at the social, environmental, and
yang disahkan melalui Undang-Undang Nomor 2 Tahun 2013, terletak di Provinsi Kalimantan Timur, berbatasan langsung dengan Kalimantan Tengah, Barat, juga dengan saudara kami dari Sarawak, Malaysia Timur, di mana terdiri dari 5 kecamatan dan 50 kampung, dan hampir seluruh wilayahnya adalah mencakup area Heart of Borneo atau Bourget. Kami memiliki penduduk sampai hari ini kurang lebih 29.000 jiwa, dan kebanyakan adalah masyarakat Dayak. Dan dalam kesempatan ini, salah satunya adalah kami yang berdiri di sini adalah masyarakat Dayak atau Indigenous people. Kemudian kabupaten ini juga merupakan pemekaran dari Kabupaten Kutai Barat pada tahun.
I don't close that much because most of what he's saying is there. Only one important thing that Pak Stefanus is also indigenous Dayak people.
Lalu mengapa green economy dan NED di Indonesia dan Kalimantan Timur khususnya Makassar? Yang pertama adalah komitmen pemerintah Indonesia untuk mengurangi emisi karbon hingga 25%, di mana emisi sebesar 41% dengan support pihak internasional serta pertumbuhan ekonomi 7%. Selanjutnya, secara geofisik dan lokasi Kabupaten Makassar memiliki peran penting bagi keberlanjutan daerah aliran Sungai Makar, di mana kabupaten ini terletak paling hulu Sungai Makar dan memiliki untuk perbukitan lebih dari 90% dan memiliki keanekaragaman hayati yang sangat tinggi.
I think again the most important thing is on the slide. The most important thing is the district has different roles to the different area, and it has almost 90% of forest covered area from the whole district area.
Dalam konteks tata ruang Kabupaten Makassar, di mana luas kami luas wilayah adalah 1.885.151,63 hektar ini, ada 6 wilayah atau kawasan yang kita tentukan secara garis besar, di mana hutan produksi terbatas sebesar 646.000, kemudian untuk badan air kurang lebih 6.732 hektar, kemudian hutan produksi konservasi kurang lebih 2.777 hektar, dan hutan produksi tetap 212.000 hektar, serta kawasan pembangunan area pemukiman lain atau
the forest area, the better is in combating the climate change. The bigger is the forest cover. And when we talk about the forest cover, we talk about biodiversity, we talk about biomass associated to biodiversity. So if we burn or we decompose this biomass, it releases CO2 and CH4 among others. So that is the adagium. And allow me to think out loud with those 4 questions. I'm not going to read, but the idea is how we are all here together to support the initiative, and how about my brother and my sister from Africa inspired, or we should learn from them if they have something like this transboundary in the lovely place of Africa. That is. So I promise I need to start with bad news. Please, next. This is Borneo, but I was not born. I was born in 1956. And this is Borneo that I saw that when I'm growing. And when I was about to go to the college, to the university, I see another face of Borneo. Next. Next. I'm getting worried if I push next. So, but we need to face the fact that it can be in the reality. So, push the button. So, the deep green is the intact forest. It's mostly in the elevated island. And the light green is the commercial or being exploited forest. And the